What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we have to talk about where the auction house is currently at in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM because I have never seen it like this year. Now, as we do dive into this thing, if you are new to my channel and have not yet, make sure you guys do smash that subscribe button. I appreciate all the recent support on the channel. You guys are absolutely amazing. Now, Dark Matters are now a buyout, and I'm predicting that Dark Matters will be a buyout from here on out throughout the rest of the year. You know, some people might think that the market may recover from this. I'm one. I don't. So you got Dark Matters for a buyout. You've got Galaxy Opals for 20,000 MT. You've got all these cards that are so cheap, you know, that are really solid cards. Now, I don't necessarily love most of the Galaxy Opals that came out today. I'm just not a big fan of, like, Jayson Tatum. I'm not the biggest fan of. And even, you know, I'm trying to think of the other guy that, Norman Powell, I'm not a big fan of as well. Now, as far as one of the Galaxy Opals that I really do like, I really like Roy Hibbert. His price, though, right now is relatively expensive. And so, Hibbert's not necessarily going to be super cheap today. You kind of can predict that. But as far as the other Opals, they should be cheap today. Now, what I really like, though, for the majority of the community is all of these cards are gonna seem more accessible, especially come early next week when we start seeing super packs on a more consistent basis. That is when I think, you know, it is really going to be good for the, you know, my team community that all of these cards are going to feel super accessible. Even a guy like Manu Ginobili, man, I feel like he's honestly one of the more underrated cards that came out today that I think is going to be good. I mean, Jamal Murray based on very quick Pro 2 leaner TyDeBo dribble style. And the fact of the matter is, guess what? He's basically 100,000 MT, which is crazy to me. Like, I think Manu is going to be really good on this game. I might even buy him, not on this account, but and see what he does get into for that price. And that's the other thing I'm really trying to figure out is, what are these prices going to be like? Obviously, Dame is going to stay a buyout. Jeremy Lin's going to stay a buyout. Aaron Gordon, who isn't very good, is probably going to stay a buyout. But what are the prices going to be like in the future? You're now seeing 100 overalls because of Tatum and Ant not being that great, get super cheap as well. So if you have been holding on to any of these cards, I'm sorry, because today's drop is really tanking prices. You know, like 5 million MT didn't get you very far a couple of weeks ago. Now it gets you quite a ways. And so those are the things that I would encourage you guys to think about. Obviously, again, Dark Matters are gonna flood the auction house as well. Andrea Bargnani for this price, is it a snag? I don't know. But I don't hate him for 100,000 MT. With 24 Hall of Famers, I think he can play a solid defense. I think the card's really solid, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of Bargnani's up. And so those are the things that I'm really thinking about right now is what's worth it, what's not worth it. You're seeing a 12 legend bad Stephon Castle for 300,000 MT. I mean, the market is in absolute shambles right now. And if you are looking to build your squad, I think right now is a perfect opportunity to do so. A couple of weeks ago, this Tim Thomas was 1 million MT. Now you can get a souped one for what? Less than 500,000 MT. You're looking at guys like Pink Diamond Michael Beasley. Granted, we got a better Michael Beasley, but his price, you know, being in the absolute dirt today, right? And so these are the things that I would pay attention to if I were you guys, right? It's a great time to start looking at building your squad and really spending the MT that you guys have been patient with. Like, if you have been patient with your MT, it's a perfect time to, you know, kind of get in the game per se, you know, perfect time to see what you're looking for and to buy those specific cards. A card that has been trending downward in a big time way and it's continuing that way is Victor Wembanyama. I don't necessarily love this card at this stage, but you could probably find a Soup Pink Diamond Victor Wembanyama at this stage for dirt cheap. I mean, again, all of these cards are just steadily going down because as time, you know, goes on, we're getting better and better cards. The market is slowly getting cheaper and cheaper. And you guys are seeing kind of how things are going. Again, I'm not necessarily in love with where this game is at right now as far as, you know, everything is concerned. But what I will say is we got, you know, some solid Signature Series event challenges as well. Now, one thing I want to hit on, the importance of these, right? And the importance of, you know, the event being in the game is because now people like myself will get Jason Kidd, right? We might end up getting Marc Gasol, Andrew Wiggins, Nick Young, getting these unsellable players. Whereas, you know, now we're adding more and more cards to our squad. So you know what? We don't need these old cards anymore. So for example, if I added Nick Young to the team, guess what? Say goodbye to Paul George Pink Diamond. I just simply put, would not need the card anymore. And so those are kind of the things to really look at is even a Pink Diamond Dr. J at this stage, you could probably get a incredibly good Dr. J for dirt cheap because people are no longer needing Dr. J. Dr. J is still really good. He has not changed. He is still one of your better shooting guards on the entire game. What has changed, though, is people no longer needing the card. So, even for my no money spent, I'm on the prowl. Like, if I don't necessarily love Dr. J, but if I find a Dr. J that I like that fits what I'm, looking for, I'm not going to hesitate, especially if I can find one with that, like, legend on-ball menace. Sign me up every day of the week for that. Now, 100,000 MT is a little gassing it as far as his price is concerned. But if you can find, one with, badges that you like and that's going to just play at an incredibly high level, those are the things that I would look at if I were you guys today. Maybe you can even snag one like this. This one's got 22 legends. Maybe, just maybe, you can snag that one for a relatively inexpensive price. These are the things that today I would really be looking at for you guys today because like I've mentioned, the auction house is no longer what it once was. Like if you don't have 100 overall and 100 overall, again, you can get these cards for without, breaking the bank entirely. Obviously, they're still overpriced in my opinion, but they're no longer as expensive as they once were or consistently were in my team. So that's really what I'm thinking about. And even like a dark matter Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine is incredibly good, but at this stage of my team, like he's not overpriced. He's not crazy in price. And so another card that a lot of people really do like that again feels at least somewhat accessible for the majority of the community. And again, the reason I'm really hitting on this is because I want you guys to know and realize like a lot of these cards are no longer, they're no longer, they're actually like realistic is what I'm trying to say. Like a lot of the cards obviously are still going to be expensive, but a lot of the cards went from, feeling really, like not accessible to now at this stage, you can make the case a lot of these cards are accessible, right? Even like the Wembies of the past, even like, some of the cards that we have seen in the past, these are now cards that you guys can look at and be like, well, now they're somewhat realistic. Now, I don't know what the price of like Galaxy Opal Victor Wembanyama is. He probably is still pretty expensive, but it is one of those things to know. It's one of those things to pay attention to is as we continue to see better and better cards, as we continue to see the content improve, what is the auction house going to look like in the future? Is it going to, go up? Is it going to go down? Where is it going to land? Because those are the things that for me is something I'm monitoring. Obviously on my main account right now, I'm banned, but when I get unbanned, right? What does that look like, right? Am I going to start picking up cards once I get unbanned, or is it going to be better for me to just stay patient with where the auction house is going to be at? Again, these are the things that even for myself, I've got to start thinking about and looking at for myself. So that's just kind of where I'm at and kind of what I'm looking for as far as not only now, but moving into the future is there any cards that I'm looking at picking up? And again, price-wise, do they fit what I'm wanting, right? I obviously hate overspending as much as anybody, but if I can get cards for solid value, solid price, I am not afraid to be a spender in a market like this. So if you do want the big ballers, if you want, the 100 overalls, I don't think today's a horrible day to buy one. Like if you can get either of these cards for these prices, I don't hate them. Devin Booker, MJ, even for the dark matters, all the way down to even some of like the Galaxy Opals Pink Diamonds, I don't mind them for their prices. I really don't. Like even the Manu, again, I've not used Manu at the time I'm recording this, but I'm saying like his card looks good and I don't think the card is that overpriced at the time I am recording this. So not necessarily the biggest fan. I will say I'm not of the new dark matters that came out today. Most of them I'm not the biggest fan of, but overall, it is definitely a buyer's market as far as I'm concerned right now. And I'm not saying, oh, drop everything and spend all your MT. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying overall, I feel like it is definitely a buyer's market more than a seller's market as it stands right now. That is going to wrap it up for our video today. Let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comments. Drop a like on the video, guys. Subscribe if you are new. And as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.